Coming up on Smash That Glass.
We'll get together and shake our tits at the moon.
He ate shit and he went flying, flailing, hurtling into the audience and landed in like this old couple's lap.
Yes, it's a horse skull where they drape like a big cloth over its head. They put ribbons all over it and they put Christmas baubles in its eye socket.
My pony lies over the ocean.
Hello and welcome to Smash That Glass, a celebration of the women that get shit done in music, entertainment, pop culture and throughout history. I'm your host Candy Machine and I'm here with Jupiter Storm.
Hello!
SuperNattyCat.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and AcidxPearl.
Oi oi! With some bells on.
Yay! How are we all? What have we all been doing?
Lots of Christmas shopping.
Christmas shopping, my god.
Christmas shopping.
I had a nightmare of Christmas shopping yesterday. I really wanted to buy something for Gadget. Gadget, don't listen to this bit. Close your ears. I wanted to get him a Lego D&D tower where you kind of...
That's insane.
So it's like a guy called Lego Dad on TikTok, and he's put together this kind of dungeon tower that you put your dice in, and then it's got like a lever that puts your dice into the top of the tower and it goes through, so it rolls your dice. He loves Lego, he loves D&D, and I wanted to buy it from this guy, the build of this from this guy. But
so it's not like an official Lego build.
It's not an official build.
Them.
It's he's created them. So I went on his website, and it's America, and they don't ship to the UK, and I was really gutted. But he's such a lovely man because he's posted the instructions along with the kit list for free, so you can just download it for free. So if you don't, and I can understand why he's done that, because it took me 4 hours yesterday to go on a European Lego parts website and type in the serial numbers for each individual brick for this build, and it was 96 individual bricks, and then obviously there was multiples of each, and you had to pick the right colour. Some of them didn't come in the right colour, so I had to find a close enough colour. Luckily Gadget is colourblind, so he won't notice a dark blue with black.
Amazing.
But it took me 4 hours of typing in all of these it was like 3 pages of serial numbers for all these different bricks, and it arrives tomorrow, and I'm hoping that they have got every single one of them.
Get them out to work.
But do you know what? He could see me doing it, and he knew I was up to something. So I hope he understands the effort that went through it, because my God.
So really, the gift to him is your time. The
Lego
my
time, 4 hours of my time. Actually, the Lego wasn't cheap. I looked at it and thought, like 10 pence for a brick. I need 8 of those. I need 4 of those. Oh, we're like 13 pence. Like I need 3 of those and 2 of those in black and in red. And by the time I got to the end of it, it was over £100 worth of Lego bricks.
It is phenomenally expensive, because I wanted to get my mum the Hogwarts. I think it was the Hogwarts one. I wanted to get her because she really likes to keep her hands busy when she says is when she's watching TV. She likes to keep her hands busy so she doesn't eat, because otherwise her hands are busy with crisps. So we like to do like a jigsaw puzzle or just build something over Christmas. And I wanted to get her the Hogwarts one. I went on, it's like 300 quid.
Yeah,
it's absolutely phenomenally expensive. But there's one, I can't remember the company, but it is a little bit like Lego, although I think the parts are smaller, and it's all like these little Japanese streets or sort of Japanese restaurants and stuff that you can build, like sushi houses. They're so cute, and they've got little lights in them and everything. I'm really tempted with those, but I don't know how good they are.
Please show me those. That's so cute.
They sell like knockoffs of exactly what you're talking about in what's it called? Uniqlo? In Cardiff. It's like a they sell them, they're at the back, and they sell like a Japanese restaurant, a Japanese wash house.
Oh, that's so cute.
That's exactly
It's not
what
Lego,
it is.
but it looks exactly the same. If I see one, I'll get one for you.
Oh, that's amazing. I've got a jigsaw puzzle of giant cats in cities with neon sunglasses on. So that's going to be our job over Christmas.
That's adorable.
I can't wait to see how far you've got with that when we come round for Friendsmas.
we had a Stranger Things one last year. I don't think we finished it.
Didn't Panda steal a puzzle piece though? Didn't you say you were?
That sounds like something he
Yeah.
would do. I don't think we got as far as like almost completing it. But this was before my mum had watched Stranger Things as well, and so she didn't really know what she was doing. I didn't realise she'd never seen it. And then I think Stranger Things, it must have been mentioned in the Daily Mail or Radio 4 or something, because she suddenly started watching it and she's like, I can't believe how good it was. And she watched the entire thing in about 2 weeks, all 4 seasons. She loves it. And now she's sort of saying, well, how long do we have to wait? I can't wait till another season. It's like, welcome to everyone else's world.
For the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Does everybody know what Mary Lloyd is?
I do. I saw it online, but I didn't believe it was a real thing until I consulted an actual Welsh person of Wales.
Oh.
So enlighten all of us.
Enlighten me. Mary Lloyd.
Mary Lloyd, so it's spelled Mailwyd, and in Welsh, if you don't have a double L, which is a noise, then you say it's Lloyd, so it's Mary Lloyd. So it's a tradition coming from South Wales, so us Welshies, obviously. It was first recorded in 1800, so this has been going for a long time. So if you want to, you can have a quick wiki or Google now, and if you type in Mary Lloyd, so Mailwyd, so a big picture of either a cow or a horse skull. It's supposed to be, I think it's a horse skull.
Is it M-A-R,
yes.
did you say?
M-A-R-I, sorry, yeah.
Oh.
So yes, it's a horse skull where they drape like a big cloth over its head. They put ribbons all over it, and they put Christmas baubles in its eye sockets. They stick it on a stick, and they go around from house to house, and they basically knock on people's doors, sing a song, and basically ask, can you let me in so I can drink all your food and eat all your food and drink all your wine? So
I love it.
It's amazing. So yes, so it says the Mary Lloyd consists of a horse's skull
it's
decorated with
terrifying.
ribbons and affixed to a pole. So the back of the skull is attached to a white sheet which drapes down to conceal both the pole and the individual carrying the device. On occasion, the horse's head is represented not by a skull, but instead made from wood or paper. But I know, so one of my friends, mum and dad, do this every year, and they use a proper skull. It's heavy as fuck. In some instances as well, it says that they use a mechanism so the jaw can actually open and close as they're singing the songs. So yeah.
So the dead
and
horse
then they
sings
have-
you a song.
yeah, so
love
you sing the
that.
song. So it's usually done around about Christmas time. So this year it's done from December the 25th to January the 6th, but it does differ on which part of Wales you're from. So yeah, it's this crazy tradition that us Welshies do. But yeah, so it says there's a unique example provided by the account from the Gower, which is Swansea way, in which the head was kept buried throughout the year and it gets dug up for use during the Christmas season. It begins at dusk and it lasts late into the night, and you get absolutely wankered. Yeah,
That's got to be.
So,
it must be like a pagan tradition or something, or roots in paganism, surely. It sounds very
having
Wicker
a little
Man.
look now, but yeah. So you sing a song. I'll try and say it in my best Welsh. So you say, well, dyma ni'n dwad, gyffelion di niwad, I ofyn am genad, I ofyn am genad, I ofyn am genad I ganu. So that means, well, here we come, innocent friends, to ask leave, to ask leave, to ask leave to sing. And that's what you sing when you're going around the house.
I feel like I just watched you in a nativity play. I felt so proud.
I thought we all just got cursed.
Oh.
That too, but it's fine. She said it so beautifully. I'll allow it.
Oh, yes, beautifully. But yeah, and it says here, most recorded sources term this particular custom Mary Lloyd. It's considered to be a translation of Blessed Mary, and thus a reference to the Virgin Mary, Mother of Jesus, a key religious figure of the Catholic Church. Although translating it slightly differently as Holy Mary, some of the acquaintances later suggest the use of Mary for Mary was unknown in Wales prior to the Protestant Reformation. Oh. So it's a churchy thing.
It might be based on a pagan thing, and they've just sort of co-opted it, like they've co-opted, like bringing a tree into our house and decorating it is the most pagan thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, shoving an angel on the top.
Yeah. So it's just the cultural appropriation taken over kind of thing. Does anyone have any like Christmas traditions that they always do? Like, is there a particular drink that they always have, or is there anything that their family always do? Is there something that isn't Christmas unless you do this?
I always used to at Christmas parties, because of Mighty Boosh, I used to drink Baileys from a shoe. So I do shot Baileys out of someone's shoe. Yeah. So I did that at my weightlifting parties every year.
That's amazing. Me and my auntie do, we buy each other a ball every year, and it sounds like I get so excited. And I got mine the other day, and it's a little bull terrier. So, yes, it's very cute.
That's adorable. A bull terrier?
A bull terrier.
A bull terrier?
It's very beautiful. It's really cute. But yeah, it always makes my Christmas.
So cute. I wake up Christmas morning and I always make sure I have Prosecco and Cointreau.
Oh, lovely.
No, Cointreau and Bucks Fizz.
Yeah.
And it needs to be in a fancy glass.
Not a Slipknot glass.
It has to be in a cut glass, so I get to cradle it. Maybe it's in a coupe, or it can be in a flute. But I really enjoy having that. Like when I first wake up, that's my thing on Christmas. I'm slaughtered by lunchtime, and I usually do the Christmas dinner, so it's usually just gadget and that. Because I don't know about anyone else, and as my own personal experience, if you find Christmas triggering, or you've got family who just don't have the same energy as you as Christmas. My family are very stressed, and everything's got to be at a certain time, and it's just a stressful day around my family. I leave them to do it themselves, and Gadget and I have like a quiet Christmas between us, and I really enjoy it. Most of the time we try and sit and watch as much Lord of the Rings extended edition. That's our Christmas tradition.
Not
we
Harry
always
Potter,
do that. Not Harry Potter, no.
Harry Potter.
I would love to watch Harry Potter. I don't want to join the crowd, you know. But
edgelord.
Haters don't hate.
But we watch like a Lord of the Rings thing, and I always like watching one of the Two Ronnies sketches. That's my kind of go-to
that is
Christmas thing. I love the Two Ronnies.
I love
really
the
enjoy
optician
that
sketch.
And I might kind of watch a couple of like Father Ted's, get a few of those in there, because I really enjoy Father Ted's. But I also, because I'm not Wiccan, but I do practice like witchcraft and things like that. I quite enjoy doing that. So the solstice and Yule is a big deal as well for me. So I make sure I make time for that. I'll either go for a nice long walk through the woods. I'll maybe do some craft stuff, like build some sort of like altar brooms and do things, or I'll just sort of sit in a nice calm room and do some craft stuff, or do my wrapping paper whilst listening to particular music that I like, and really get myself into a particular zone with it, and just sort of really be present at that time, because I don't know, it sounds a little bit corny, but I feel very connected to the seasons, and I like to make sure I'm very present when seasons change, or when like the long night passes. I like to make sure I'm burning something throughout the night, and just sort of being really present with it. I don't necessarily think bad spirits are going to come down my chimney, which is what the Yule log is for, but I do like kind of observing those practices, because it feels quite nice and grounding and special.
Yeah.
Gets you into a
I've had the joy of spending Christmas in the States a couple of times. I've had several Christmases in LA, and they don't do mince pies, and they don't do Christmas crackers in America.
Have you seen that TikTok of the two Americans talking about English Christmas crackers?
No.
And they don't share to pull. They hold them each.
No.
And they hold one side each. And he goes, this is what you do. You hold one side to one, and then you just pull it, and then you get the prize. And I don't think they understood that it's a shared
That
shared
gets violent
experience.
as well at our Christmas
that?
table. Like, it's the crossing hands, isn't it?
You cross your hands and you pull.
Oh no, I do it with the person over the table.
No.
Oh, it's over the table.
Yeah,
You
over the table.
do a
in my
round.
household.
We go around.
But they didn't get the silly hat. Like, it must only be England where we sit around and having our Christmas dinners with the paper hats on.
They stay on all day as well, don't they? Until you realise again, because they're so light, and then you look.
Yeah, it's like hanging off and like broken, and it's just like draped on your head.
They never fit my head. They're always too small.
Oh.
And also, because Gadget and I have them, if Gadget and I have, because we have because we have Christmas dinner together, that a pack of crackers, you're not going to get like a set of 2, you're going to get like a set of 12, so we never bother. And I need to make sure we bother.
Yeah,
that's normally my job.
Make
I'm not a cooker or anything like that, and my family just know, so they just don't even bother trying to ask. So I either bring like a pudding, or they're like, bring the Christmas crackers, mate. I'm like, okay.
How does it? What's everyone's rules with the presents? Like, how does everyone like to do it? Is it a case of run downstairs as soon as you're awake, and as soon as everyone else is awake, you just explode, or does everyone get it dished out into piles? Is there like, because there's politics, there are politics behind the gifts, and people get very upset.
We had politics like as when we were younger, or not like politics, but yeah, it would just be we had to wait until everyone was up in the morning, and Dad had to have had his cup of tea first. So you'd be like, "Come on, drink your tea, drink your tea." But other than like, now we just do it whenever. I hate it when everyone wants to watch. I don't know why. Like, don't make me. We do Secret Santa with the adults in the family because we've got lots of babies, and this year we've got 3 triplets. So that's
so cute,
crazy. So yeah, we do Secret Santa with the adults, but yeah, someone always tries to be like, "Oh, should we do it one by one?" And I'm already like, "No, don't look at me."
I get really uncomfortable with the gift opening. I hate the idea of everyone kind of just diving in and tearing everything apart.
Yeah.
Mainly because it takes so long to buy all the presents and wrap them and plan them and all of that effort. If it's over and done within a few minutes, it's a real and it kind of puts me in a bad mood afterwards. I don't know about anyone else, but after all the gifts and stuff have always been opened within a case of like a couple of minutes, and it's all, you just see everyone with their big pile of stuff, and you're thinking, God, all that effort, and it's now just this sort of static pile of things. Great. I think it's different when you've got kids and they're enjoying their toys and they're playing, but adults don't sit there and enjoy the presents that they've just opened. They don't sit there and they kind of read the box a little bit, but they don't sit there and like start reading the book that you spent ages trying to locate.
Oh no, you got to pretend to read. You got to have a flick through and be like, I can't.
Oh, it's
read
really
this.
interesting. Thanks for this book on casseroles, Mum. As a kid, I was quite difficult to buy for. I was one of those kids that never really had a particular like in anything. I kind of just dabbled in everything, so I was very difficult to buy for. I wasn't a big reader either, so you couldn't really buy me books, and I wasn't into dolls either, so it was quite hard. And so I often had to sort of feign my excitement a little bit when I'd open a present and I wouldn't understand why it was given to me, because it made no sense. And I think the person getting it for me just went, so if it was like a pink Barbie doll or something with all the like trimmings and things, I'd be like, yay! I've always wanted this. I've always wanted. Thank you so much. I can't wait to play with her, and she'd stay in the box.
To me.
So I just wasn't interested. And so I think then I'd get, I don't know, because I had to fake that reaction, then I'd always get like really a lot of social anxiety to perform when I open a gift, and I think that's just carried into my adulthood now. I don't know if anyone else feels that way. Do you get a bit of social anxiety thinking, oh, I need to make sure I think a lot of people get it. They want to make sure that they come across very grateful and that they like it, but it's sometimes hard to mask disappointment or just confusion. Sometimes you open a gift and you go,
I feel like I'm quite easy to buy for though, so I feel like there's not often I've been like, oh my God, I hate it. Like I normally think like they thought, you can see where the thoughts come from, you know, like, and I always just think that's like really cute, so I'm normally quite easy.
Yeah. It's even pants, isn't it? Not even the sexy ones.
Yeah.
Pants.
Oh, I love getting I get excited for socks now.
Oh, I love a sock. Christmas
sock is a brilliant gift.
I don't wear socks ever.
What?
I'll prove it. Look at this.
Your
now,
slippers
look.
must
Oh no,
stink.
not for free.
Boot. This is a boot.
So you just go you
This
go
is a
raw.
foot.
You go raw into that.
Well,
Are
YouTube
you
just got
raw in
lit.
that shoe?
Joe, did you see that though? Barefoot in a
Do your
boot.
shoes not smell?
Oh no, they're terrible. They smell really bad.
Do you
can't-
suffer
I
with
can't
an
do it.
athlete's foot a lot?
Yeah.
Oh well, I can understand why.
I
Get
love
yourself
how
some
this
cotton
is gone.
socks.
Yeah. I can't
Why?
wear them. So I've had this conversation with a couple of people in the Discord, and it's because I can't stand the seam of the sock on my feet.
Oh, I've heard people
Get
I'm even-
seamless,
look,
then.
I'm wearing, these are the best things ever, I'm wearing footless tights.
put them
So that in
away.
winter.
I can smell your feet from here. I can smell them. They got like a mum's home from work smell. You know,
I don't even wear
Mum
socks with my
cheese.
weightlifting shoes. And I had the same weightlifters because they cost so much money. So I bought a really nice pair of weightlifting shoes. And they must have been about 140 quid when I got them. And yeah, I never wear socks with them. And it got to the point where I couldn't actually keep them in the cupboard upstairs. They have to go in the cupboard downstairs because you can smell them in the bedroom.
I don't understand that you don't have that like drawer of just pure heaven from like all the socks in Primark, like Baby Yoda all the way through to like Slipknot. Like it's the best feeling.
Or the pure joy when you've got out the bath and you've got brand new socks and they've been on the radiator and you just put them on your feet and they're all toasty.
No.
Or having a pair of slipper socks inside bigger slippers that I'm
Yeah.
living in at the moment.
Fluffy
So I've
socks.
got big thick slipper socks that I wear inside other slippers, and it's just double toasty.
Nat,
Are
do you not like
cold?
breaking in shoes? Like, does that not kill?
I just get blisters, and then the blisters turn into hard skin, and then I just shave it off.
I love you're so typical.
So what's more? I'm absolutely baffled. What is more uncomfortable? The athlete's foot, the hard skin, the blisters, or feeling a little bit of a seam in your sock, your clean
Can't
sock?
stand it. I haven't done it since I was about 12. And I started like choosing my own clothes to go to school. I was like, no, I'm going to do without this now.
Take this or
Wow.
leave it. It's none of my business, okay? If you want to walk around like that, it is none of my
Jupiter's
business. But
judging
if-
hard, just
and
know.
I'm really judging hard, like genuinely looking at you differently now.
You're off the Christmas card list.
I just imagine your house smells like feet. That's what I imagine.
Oh,
Like, does it not
the
smell
house
like
smells
feet?
nice.
Well, because you're used to the smell. If I walked in your house, does it smell like feet?
No, it smells lovely. It smells more like I don't know.
I reckon it smells like new
not
house
quite-
and scented candle.
And mulled
Yes,
wine.
that's exactly it. Yeah.
So
not
I don't
quite
know if
feet.
anyone's
my,
ever
my
said
shoe
this
cupboard
to
smells
you.
like feet.
I don't know if anyone's ever, and you may just need to hear it. But sometimes we have to do things we don't want to do. I don't like wearing a bra, but over COVID, I stopped wearing one because, readers, listeners, I am a 40H. That's right, H for hotel. They are enormous.
Holy
They-
shit, those are big boobs.
Yeah, they are absolutely enormous. I am very uncomfortable. They are very heavy. And over lockdown, I decided I don't have to wear a bra anymore. This is great. So I just lived in t-shirt bras or nothing at all. And my tits have sagged considerably in the past 2 years. So much so that earlier when I was getting dressed, I saw Gadget walk past when I was getting dressed, and he looked down. I thought he was looking at my doodah because I was naked, and he wasn't. He was looking at my tits. And I went, I'm up here, and it was a really long way from me pointing to my tits to pointing to my face. But there was a pause between I'm up here.
Lives them with you. I'm.
There are times where he's working and I sneak up behind him, pick up my tit and just slap him on the shoulder with it, and it really hurts him. It hurts me, but it's worth it. The point is, I don't like wearing a bra, but I wish someone said to me, tough, you need to, you got to, otherwise you're going to be wearing your tits for slippers, you know? There's going to be a point where you have to play kicky ups with your tits as you run up the stairs. It's uncomfortable, but I wear them. And now my badge is not in a bag, I'm having to wear my knickers too. So
So wear socks, otherwise your toes will sag.
Yeah, you don't want the saggy toes, mate.
I don't want saggy toes.
I'm just going to end up with really bad athlete's foot with my tits and my vag sitting on my feet. They're going to be constantly moist.
Oh, she said moist.
Oh, all of them, just one after the other. Has anyone done any Christmas work parties?
I have 2 coming up.
Oh, two
So
coming
that's
up.
gonna be fun.
2.
Yeah, I got one on Friday, and then I've got one next Thursday. Oh, and then I've got another one the week after that as well. So I've got one for work.
Social butterfly.
Yeah.
I've got one. This was not me 2 years ago. I've really made myself make some friends and be social because COVID caused me to be a hermit. So I've got one for work. I've got one for my volunteer job. I volunteer at an observatory in Northumberland called Kilda Observatory. So I volunteer there. So we've got that Christmas party, and then I've got my coven kind of Yule party on the solstice. So we all get together and shake our tits at the moon.
Hey!
That
And she's
sounds
like,
amazing.
We're all really into that.
Shall we all just do it now?
She'll just go shake your bellies at the moon.
oh, look at them
So
go.
good. Yeah. Gosh, they really go, don't they?
We should probably talk about that horrific one that AcidxPearl and I went to.
We probably should.
We noticed that they were showing Christmas Carol on ice at the ice rink where we go and see the ice hockey. And I was like, oh, I wonder what that would be like. Maybe that would be nice to go to. Underneath the poster, I see performed by amateur skaters. I'm like, we definitely need to go to that because it's going to be shite. There's going to be people all over the show. It's like, we got tickets. It was our Christmas Silver Lining Do.
Our first one, officially, because normally it just never happens.
Tickets for all 4 of us in the shop, plus our Pierce's husband. We were all ready to go. And one by one, we started dropping like flies. So it got to the point where it was just AcidxPearl and I, party for 2 at the ice rink. And
Isn't it usually how it ends up, though? The pair of you, like, just sort of holding down the fort at the end of the night.
We were like, we don't have to go, but come on, it's our first. We're doing this. It's a Christmas party.
We're going to be a
hopefully
professional
hilarious.
place for the Christmas party.
But my God, I did not anticipate just how bad this show was going to be. It was dreadful. There were skaters all over the place, and there was a dance troupe of maybe 6 or 8 of them that were actual professional skaters.
They were good.
Then the rest were just the people just teetering, kind of like they had the stiff legs and the arms out, the people flying all over the place.
They were ghosts.
Yeah, well, the highlight of it for me was actually one of the professional skaters, and he came in a bit hot, didn't he? He was going in a bit fast. He was a bit too enthusiastic, and he ate shit, and he went flying, flailing, hurtling into the audience, and landed in like this old couple's lap. And just kind of
Literally, he wouldn't look at anyone after that, would he? He'd like been put off his game massively.
Oh,
They even they wheeled out pretty much like a pull down screen, and there was like a PowerPoint presentation going on in the back with like lyrics so you could sing along and
just
it was
really
bad.
random songs as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was bad, but it was funny.
I have a good one if you guys are interested.
Always.
She won't listen to this, so she doesn't even know I'm doing this, so she'll never listen. My mother was in a panto,
Ah.
a community panto.
The Amdrams.
An
I love
independent community panto, so all the people who aren't part of established panto groups have got an independent group. And I watched it about a week or so ago, and she bought me tickets, so I didn't get much of a choice. And so I want to be supportive, and I want to go there and support. Gadget apparently had COVID for the day.
Oh yeah. I hope he's feeling
I
better.
think his words were, "Please don't make me go. Like, genuinely, please don't make me go." So he got away with it. But it was bad. It was bad. Okay, so I'm going to premise this with, I fully support and do not mean to make fun of people who give up their spare time to spread a bit of Christmas joy at the end of the year with a panto. We all remember pantos as kids. We all remember our first panto. Mine was a Alice in Wonderland panto in January or no, it wasn't. It was my birthday when I was like 6. So we all remember our first panto experience. So I appreciate that. It's a British culture. It's a British tradition. Yes. However, I think there is a moral duty. If you're going to put on a play for people to sit and watch and they can't leave, you need to rehearse it. Period. This was not rehearsed. I believe my mother said that they got 1, maybe 2 rehearsals, but that did include all the people up behind the stage. At one point, someone was sort of sweeping the edge of the stage with a broom to get all the confetti off whilst the scene was still going.
Hurry up, Jim. We're doing a scene,
there was
mate.
There was props falling over. There was people forgetting their lines. There was people forgetting to come on, and a lot of people kind of just wide-eyed and sort of and people. These
It's like
people
Faulty Towers.
It was like as if not David Tennant. It was like the UK office put on a Christmas party. It was like employees at HMRC put on a Christmas party. You know, it was giving me that vibe. And you know, they were also all talking to each other, not talking to this audience.
Not projecting.
They weren't projecting. They didn't have microphones, so some of it you couldn't hear. And the whole thing, my mother had one line in the last scene, and that was it. She was mostly, she said, every time you see the curtain twitch, that's me. Every time you see some props come on, that's me. And I'm like, okay. So I sat there watching it for that. There was one bit where they made us sing a really long rendition of a hymn, or is it the one that goes, my body lies over the ocean.
Oh, yeah.
My body lies over the sea. That one.
My Bonnie, not my
Bonnie?
body.
I thought it was Bonnie as well, and I didn't want to be wrong.
It's Bonnie.
Is it not?
My
I said body.
lies over the ocean.
They said body. My body is dead in the ocean. My body is sunk down the
Lies
sea.
at the bottom of the sea.
I'd rather be there than here.
Oh, bring back my body to me.
Bring back my spare time to me. But I think probably the funniest story is that it was obviously all I'm very happy for her. It's keeping her busy. It's a good little community project.
Cute
and
AF.
I fully support. But there was also, try not to make it seem on my face, but behind my face I was like, oh my God, this is funny.
I hope when she came
way.
out and did her one line, you stood up and clapped.
Well, because she got something wrong, the guy on stage, she forgot to put the chair out, and the guy made a joke about the chair not being there, and then she quickly put the chair out, which was quite funny. But because it wasn't scripted, he decided to pull her out and make her sit and do the thing with everyone else, and my mum's painfully shy. And I did say afterwards, I was like, now you've come out of your shell, maybe you can use it to stuff your bra with, Mum. But she's painfully shy. She got dragged out on the stage, and that was really funny. And he encouraged us all to boo her, so I made sure I got up and I booed as loudly as I could, because I really enjoyed that. And I encouraged my 7-year-old niece to do the same. But the funny story, and I will very, very quick with this funny story, is that they needed props, and they obviously had a very fixed budget. So my mum had said, oh, well, I've got a Christmas tree you can use. It's a plastic Christmas tree. We'll use that in the background. Okay, great. And so she donates her Christmas tree, and then she just brings all of her Christmas ornaments with her. Now, how many people have sentimental Christmas ornaments? Ones that you wouldn't want to lose, or ones that you've had since you were a baby or a kid.
I got a couple.
Yeah, so you wouldn't let a stranger's group of like a dance group of 8-year-olds loose on your Christmas baubles, would you?
Absolutely not.
No, to decorate the tree. Well, this tree was being yanked in and out for about 5 different shows over the course of a week, full of all these Christmas baubles. And at the end, when they were packing them all away, they asked her, what do you want to do with this? And my mum, ever the person looking for the easiest thing to do, said, oh, just keep them for next year. It's fine, just put them in the back in the storage for next year. I don't care. Until one of them said, I think you might want this, and handed her my older sister's My Baby's First Christmas bauble. And it's glass, and it's really delicate, and my sister is going to be 40 next year or the year after. So it's like and it's a big bauble as well. It's a big one. So that's been yanked back and forth for 5 different shows, and my mum was none the wiser.
She's like, nah, it's not important, mate. It's right.
If that is smashed,
put it in the cupboard.
That tree had fallen over at one point, and all the baubles had gone everywhere, and incredibly, it didn't break.
She wouldn't have noticed.
It's made from like 80s glass, you know,
Right.
so it's not going to break. But she hasn't told my sister that she was that careless with her Christmas bauble. I've suggested that she gift the bauble to my sister now and let her take care of it.
That's a good idea.
And never tell her.
Yes.
But I fully intend next time I see my sister and she's in a good mood, I'm telling her. I can't wait to tell her.
Jupiter's ready to ruin Christmas.
I'll tell her once she's got it. Once she's got it on her own tree and it's safe and sound, I'll tell her the story.
Did you know?
That thing's been swinging around half a month.
Used to play catch, football.
Yeah,
On the
gosh,
Ed
like the
Mum.
local dance group were using it for warm-ups, like a yoga ball. I've had a pregnant lady squatting on it, and she was giving her, panting through her contractions. She was bouncing up and down on it.
Have you ever been in a nativity?
I like
Anyway.
as a child. Yeah, as a child.
What
Yeah.
did you play in the nativity?
I'm trying to think.
I played a Roman soldier, but my skirt fell down halfway through because it was quite heavy. We were given these sort of flappy leather kind of Roman skirt things, and I didn't tie them on
Was
tight
there
enough.
Roman
And as I got up to say
soldiers
my
in the
line,
nativity though?
Romans,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's Romans
I
about.
don't remember the soldiers in the nativity.
Well, yeah. Who do you think were like?
This is the Spartan version.
Who do you think told them
Yeah.
to go back? Who do you think
It's
told them
lit.
to go back to their birthplace?
The people.
Why
that-
do you think Mary was on the donkey in the first place?
Yeah, I get that's the
Instead of them
people
saying we had no
Bethlehem,
room
wasn't
at the end, they just Spartan kicked them out of the room. This is
Yeah.
Fuck off.
This is Bethlehem!
Oh, poor baby Jesus.
it? What were you
Oh.
in your nativity, Candy?
I was the innkeeper's wife,
Oh,
and I
Oh,
had to sing by myself. I had to sing.
Oh,
Go away,
what did she have to
stay away, come again another day. And do that
that's my
with
life
my
motto
hands.
now.
So not that.
Not that, no. I didn't know what that was back in the day.
I was
Oh
a
my God,
shepherd
adorable.
with a proper tea towel.
Tea
And
towel shepherd.
I had a big part and I was really excited, and then I got conjunctivitis, so my understudy Lauren had to take in, and apparently she was stood there like shaking, and she's like, I'm gonna kill her.
Why did conjunctivitis stop you?
I don't know, I guess I was ill, and my mum was like, you can't go to school. I think it's like spreadable, isn't it?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
get
it's
sent
super
home now
contagious.
if you've got
Quite contagious.
conjunctivitis.
Yeah, so I didn't get to do my big bit, and that's why I never made it as an actress.
I got conjunctivitis on holiday once and thought I was blind.
It is minging, isn't it?
I was on holiday in Corfu and I woke up with conjunctivitis and I screamed thinking I was blind.
It's horrible. It sticks your eyes together, and then you get
Yeah.
eye cheese.
Yeah, eye bogies.
Yeah. What?
I remember I was the elder brother in Joseph and the
I knew
Technicolor
you was gonna
Dreamcoat.
say that's the best.
I was the lesser known sister in Joseph.
The sister,
Which
I
brother
was
were you?
Reuben.
Reuben, that's like the main one.
Oh.
And my line was fist in the air, like pumping up full 80s style, and my line was Reuben!
Yeah.
And that was it. And then everyone was saying, Reuben was the eldest of the children of Israel, with Izzy and Levi next in line, Natalie and Issachar and Asher and Dan. Total to 9. Jacob
and
Sons.
I
And
have
sister.
no idea what's going on.
Have you never Joseph and the Technicolor? It's like rite of passage as a child, right?
Nah.
I still remember
my
marching
goodness.
into the
I
assembly to
close
sit
my
down and watch it.
eyes.
So good.
Yeah, everyone trundles onto
Ah.
the stage. Why are kids always so heavy-footed on those fucking stages as well? Like they'll poof, 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 poof to the other side.
I bet as a parent, like, it must be so funny to get to watch nativities and stuff now. It just must
I'm
be
going
hilarious.
to go watch my nieces.
Oh.
On the 18th, my niece, she goes to a drama club and they're putting on Scrooge.
Oh.
Because they can't do like a religious Christmas one because it's just a bit more inclusive, so they're doing Scrooge instead. and I can't wait because
Oh,
she's
that'll
a
be
big
cute.
personality, and I
So
can't
cute.
wait.
I love it when one of the kids faints.
Do you know what else is lit? I went to sports day for the first time this year, and there's just kids stacking it left, right, and centre. It's amazing. I recommend it. Borrow someone's child and go. Get on that field. It's amazing.
You could take bets about which kid is
I
going
was
to
just about to say.
Yeah.
As soon as
That
you
one
get
looks a bit
on,
wobbly.
you know which one's
Five quid on the kid in the bun with the white face.
Nothing's better than seeing a kid that you know went just before the whistle, but no one wants to say anything. Stack it.
Yeah.
And then they
You
thought,
deserve
like,
that, you little
karma
shit.
is swift.
I used to like the junior school like sports days though, because when you get to senior school, it gets a bit serious, doesn't it? Like the 1500 meters and the hurdles. But back in the day when it's junior school, you got the sack race, you got the egg and spoon race.
Yeah.
Oh my
Beanbag
god.
throwing, hurdles.
Did anyone ever compete for their school or their county at anything?
I played hockey for the county.
Did you?
Yeah. Didn't enjoy
What
it.
position did you play?
Centre forward.
Oh.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
Ironically, how you identify as well.
centre forward. That's going to take a minute for me to roll over me.
I kind of lied my way and got bit in the ass for it, but I met a boy, so it was okay. I'm not very sporty, and I wasn't a runner. I was quite good at netball because all the other girls were just too polite, and I was just getting stuck in there. I was good at tennis because I hit the ball hard. I was surrounded by a lot of delicate women.
I imagine you like. Do you remember what is the character in Robin Hood? It's like a chicken. Is she like? She's playing like rugby or something like.
I know
thundering
exactly
through.
who, like the cartoon.
Yeah.
Robin Hood and the princess is like.
She's like the matron
she's
or
not-
something.
Yeah, I think she's actually just matron, maybe. Yeah, I love her. I think she's brilliant.
That's how I picture you playing netball.
I have always had the body of a 40-year-old woman, so that totally makes sense. I was born to breed and eat potatoes. That was pretty much what my ancestries brought me up for. I wasn't very good, but I wasn't very sporty. And we did javelin, and I was the furthest in the class with the javelin. I was like, oh, I might be good at this. So the next couple of tries I had, I kind of just kicked the javelin a little bit as I went to go pick it up, and then measured from there. And my teacher was like, you've done consistently the best in the year. And I went, did I? And it was the same with shot put. I did the same trick with shot put. And she said, oh, I've got a position for you. I need you to play for the school just up the road in 2 weekends' time. Can you just throw javelin and shot put for the school, because we're desperate for a girl to come forward and do it. And I went, yeah, sure. Like feeling like really good about it, not really thinking ahead of, I can't pull this trick there. They're going to find out. And so I went and I sucked. And everyone threw the shot put, and mine was significantly not as far as everyone else's. Like, it was rubbish. My technique was rubbish, and I just told everyone that I had started my period, and I wasn't feeling very good that day.
Quick thinking.
But I ended up, and it was the same with the javelin. In fact, I didn't even throw the javelin straight. I think I threw it like an illegal throw or something. So I just was really embarrassed and just sort of sat out the next phase, as I was clearly last. We met a boy though, so it made it all worth it.
I always used to have this just unimaginable fear of the javelin, and I think it's because I watched an episode of that old 999 Lifesavers, and some boy had like slipped and the javelin gone straight through his neck, and that's all I couldn't get past that. That's all I
That
imagined would
program
happen.
used to scare the shit out of me when I was
Oh,
a
it's
kid.
banging though. Friday
Every
evenings,
Sunday.
999 Live.
Ah!
Yeah. 999, and what was that ghost show with Michael Burke as well? Strange but True or something. That was fucking...
I was going to say Most Haunted, but
Yeah.
that's a
No,
little
this
later.
was before Most Haunted. I think it's called
Oh,
Strange but True. It's absolutely
Mary Loves
banging.
Dick.
Mary loves Dick.
Mary loves Dick. Mary loves Dick.
Not because, basically, I know the name Robert walks round, and I know Mary does, but there's
Mary
this
loves Dick.
peace and calm spiritual activity there with... You alright? Alright. What is it, Derek? You alright? Mary loves Dick. Mary loves Dick. Mary loves Dick.
You're right.
Hold on.
You're right.
Just for a moment, her energy came in, and there's annoyance. A nice lady, but I feel as if she's got this great love for Dick.
Right.
For Dick.
Okay.
Great love.
Anyway, on that note, I think it might be time to move on to the main show, the main topic. But before we do, a little bit of selling for you. So as always, Smash That Glass is a Modern Escapism network production. We currently have a lineup of 4 regular podcasts, which includes our main show, Modern Escapism, a live D&D playthrough. Jupiter's still dying.
I'm just fanning my eyeball a little bit. I'm sorry, it's just Mary Loves Dick.
We've got a live playthrough podcast, Do Dragons Dream with Scorched Sheep, and Deep Dive Lounge. If you head over to modernescapism.co.uk, you'll find all our social links, the contact details, and our Discord. For £7.50 a month plus VAT, you'll find all 4 of our podcasts, plus any specials, ad-free a few days early, in our case, completely uncensored, as part of the Biggie bundle on Patreon. So that's at least 11 podcasts per month. And if you're a new listener, I do urge you to check out our sister podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you normally listen to your podcast, basically. So this week, Jupiter Storm has got a veritable feast of women of note from history, and I'm dying to know who you brought.
Well, it's a 2-course meal, so there's no dessert.
No amuse-bouche.
I'm the amuse-bouche. I'll amuse your bouche. Mary Loves Dick. I'm just gonna like.
Mary's got into you. She's possessed you now. It wasn't a lie.
I went to see Derek Acora live with my mother, and he bombed really hard because he's obviously a fraud.
Isn't he dead now? Isn't he dead?
It was in Weston. Yeah, he died. Yeah.
Has anyone
I
channeled
think
him?
Mary's having a word with him now.
Yeah. Has anyone ever channeled Derek Acora in one of these ghost hunting things?
Well, I hope so.
Oh, could you imagine it?
Oh,
so
how
cool.
the turntables.
How the turntables turn the table. Oh god, that'd be hilarious. Okay, so I wanted to talk about, well, something that women often get asked about is body count. What's your body count, ladies?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's 10.
So when I'm talking body count, so we talk a lot about women of note who have, you know, smashed through a male-dominated field, and they've managed to really make a name for themselves and really become quite quite notorious in that field and what they've done. So I wanted to talk about serial killers.
Oh, not that kind of body count. Okay.
Oh yeah.
In that case,
Well,
mine's
that's-
way higher.
So I flipped the script.
You like what I did there?
You know what I did there? The script flipped. So one person I want to talk about now, you may have already heard of her. I think there's a lot of like documentaries out there of her. She's quite notorious, but people often don't know all the information. They just know the Blood Countess, Elizabeth Bathory. Has anyone heard of her before?
Yes.
Yes.
Natty?
No.
No? So this is exciting. So body count 650
Holy
plus
shit.
women over the course of 20 years. She is by far the earliest serial killer in recorded history, and probably the most prolific as well. So she was born in 1560. So if you imagine what was going on around about that time, that's kind of the Tudor era for us. So that's where she was, and she was born in the Kingdom of Hungary. And she was born into probably the most prominent family in Central Europe. So she was born into a very powerful family. And she was, I believe, a countess. She's called the Blood Countess.
Mm-hmm.
So her parents were actually first cousins, and historians believe that this may have contributed to what effectively has been called her bloodlust. The woman was absolutely unhinged and focused on the most graphic and she was a serial killer. I don't know how else to put it, really. She had a real bloodlust about her, and they think that that's probably what contributed to that, and also contributed to what was very violent, frequent seizures that she would have as well. So perhaps the close relation of her parents could have contributed to that. Back in those days, the way they used to treat seizures were to get you to drink the blood of someone who didn't have epilepsy. So that's how they treated it. And so that, coupled with a sort of a real predisposition for violence, also contributed to what effectively was her bloodlust and gave her the ideas for all the torture she then later went on to commit to all the women in the town and in the area. So her main focus was on young peasant women, girls in particular, because they were easily explained away. You know, they no one noticed when they went missing. They were poor women, so she can get away with it essentially. Now, things that she used to do were things like she would chain their wrists until their wrists were black and blue. She would put needles under their fingernails. Ooh, no. Yeah, and she also would force them to cook and eat parts of their own flesh.
Oh, that's horrible.
And we know all of this because she kept a journal of it all.
Bitch.
And has great detail in what it is. She also liked to bathe in the blood of the victims because she thought it would give her a youthful glow. So oftentimes these women would come into service. They would be lured in by promise of work in the kitchens or in the rooms or wherever, and eventually she would take them and torture them to death, slowly drain them of blood, and have her baths with them. Eventually they would starve or die of infection or just general pain. She was absolutely horrific. Now, after a while, this was over the course of 20 years, so after a while, word got around that, this village, it was a lot of suspicion. There was not a lot of young women in this village eventually, and suspicion was raised, and the right people were notified, and she was found guilty of her crimes, and instead of being killed or anything like that, because she was a countess, because she had that royal stature, they decided to give her a dignified death by putting her in a room, very luxurious room with all her items, and a certain amount of food, and then bricked it in and left her in there. So there is still a room somewhere with her bricked up in there.
I didn't
Who
know
knows?
that.
She might be. She might still be in there.
Well, she is the inspiration of a lot of sort of vampire type fiction. And
What do you think of like evil queens and things like that?
Yeah, and certainly like the bathing in blood and everything is an image seen quite often in various like horror movies and.
Well, even in things like, if you think of Snow White, for example, the evil queen in Snow White, it's about consuming the younger to look younger. It's I think it's I think it's all derived from like a succubus.
Yeah.
The folklore of a succubus. I think that's probably where it comes from. But yeah. So yeah, she smashed that glass. She
bloody did.
found a name for herself in a male dominated field.
I mean, it's an interesting take, but yes, it works.
I also have, on the theme of violence, Princess Olga.
Oh, I don't know this one.
So Princess Olga is the princess and the patron saint of fuck around and find out.
I love her already.
So she was married happily, and her husband gave her a son and shortly after died. And so she ended up inheriting power from him. So people didn't like that a woman had inherited power, so they stopped paying their taxes. And when they stopped paying their taxes, they decided to send a boat of men over to try and overthrow her, take power, and give it back to the men that wanted it, the ones who weren't paying their taxes. And so what Princess Olga did is, when those men arrived, she had them buried alive.
Nice.
Jesus.
And then, because men are stupid, sometimes, not all men, but they decided, oh, well, let's try that again. And they sent a second load of men to her to try and reason with this woman. And when they arrived, she said, "Oh God, you guys stink. Go take a bath." And then whilst they were having a bath, she set the bathhouse on fire, and they all burned. So at this point, they decided to stop sending the men to go and speak to this woman. And after a few thousand people had been killed, they eventually asked her to come and see her. And she went, "Fine, I'll come to you." So she goes to them, and while she's there, and after, again, a few thousand people had been killed, she said that all the birds around this town reminded her of her and her husband, and that should each household send her a bird, she would forget the debt of the unpaid taxes and cease all the violence and the vendetta. And because these people were desperate, because they, again, fuck around and find out, they said, yeah, absolutely. And she went home and found all these birds waiting for her, and then tied a piece of string around every bird's foot, put in some hot sulphur, and sent them back to fly back home, and they burned the place down.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
Wow. I mean, apart from anything, that's really inventive.
I think she's clever. Don't pay your taxes, fuck around and find out.
Absolutely. Well, you wouldn't get HMRC sending you sulphur, would you? But
It feels like
I mean,
it's
who
a
knows?
post. Yeah, it really does. Every time I open those letters, oh.
Yeah.
Merry Chrysler.
I think Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Chrysler. I think we should just do my favourite vines as a video.
Yes.
That's the way it's going.
But I absolutely love that story of her. I think she's fantastic. I just love the inventiveness. You don't have to be physically stronger or have a huge army to
Conquer. I want to know how
really.
she buried all those guys alive. Like, single-handedly?
Oh no, she's a princess and she's inherited power. So
okay.
She's got her own armies. And obviously they were probably enjoying the idea of someone being smart on the throne to figure all this out. So I thought that was also a really cool story about Princess Olga, which I love that too. So there's two stories. I've got some more that I will do some more research on, and then next episode we'll have them as the women of note.
Amazing.
But I have a Chinese pirate queen.
Yes.
That we can talk about.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I've got a couple of others I've got in mind as well, so we'll do those too.
Amazing. Cool. Good stories. Right then, that brings us on to feedback. And what do we have?
So we've had a cheese bite update from Zenos.
Oh.
So he put, catching up on episode 2, the Burger King nacho cheese things might be the liquidy cheese snack you're looking for, but they do have jalapeno bits in. He said they're still liquid, even if McDonald's have changed theirs. So apparently, if you get yourself over to Burger King, you can get your nacho cheese, liquidy cheese things.
The amount of engagement that has had of people saying, I prefer the Burger King, no, I like the McDonald's, or I've tried the McDonald's. I think towards the end they fixed it. It felt, I think, because they're off the menu now, but they fixed it towards the end.
They did it just for you. They heard
they
this
did it,
and they were like, "Oh my God, our biggest consumer."
I think they weren't.
is fuming.
There are two companies I keep afloat: the company that make my screen protectors and McDonald's.
Yeah, do you know what? The whole Quality Street thing didn't go down well with a lot of people. Like, I may have been wrong on this one. A lot of people were upset about me not liking Quality Street.
And considering what I said, I'm surprised you're the one that people didn't get upset about.
People just get very into their food.
Oh,
also, when we talked about things we don't get, things like adults and Harry Potter or Disney or all that lot, I do remember Stig saying that it was a triple gut punch for him, so we apologise.
We went for every single thing that he loves.
We just didn't say wrestling.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
Wrestling's not very
give
good
him
now
that.
they let women in.
We also had a little bit of feedback from Go Lightly, who says, I'll try and give some more detailed input at some point, but here's the first 2 things that spring to mind when I think about women who get shit done. Starting off with film, Ripley, need I say more, an absolute kick-ass. TV, I have to go with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, 2 reasons. Firstly, she can slay vampires, and secondly, as a 12-year-old, I had a massive crush on her. And you never forget that first crush, do you? Ha 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 ha. Women of history, first that springs to mind is Katherine Johnson. To quote Google, Katherine Johnson was an American mathematician whose calculations of orbital mechanics as a NASA employee were critical to the success of the first and subsequent US crewed spaceflights. But she was so much more than that summary, having to deal with racial and gender discrimination in the 50s. I only just learned about Catherine after watching a film on Disney Plus, speaking of Disney, about her and the others she worked with at NASA. And although it's a film based on a
Hidden Figures.
Hidden Figures.
That I think that's the film.
I've not heard of that.
It's a book as well. It's called Hidden Figures. It's about I think it's 3 women of color who were basically they would do the physical maths at NASA. They would sit there with a pen and pencil and work it out, and they would double check the computers computing. It's incredible.
Shit.
And they
Wow.
I think one of them worked at NASA and helped with the moon landing and everything.
It's a great movie,
check out
but
Hidden Figures.
it's a great movie, but like The Help, it suffers from like white savior complex a little bit. The perspective of the film, there is an element of that from it. So it's a great film if you want to learn about it, but there is a few facts kind of skewed to make the white people in the situation appear less dicks.
Right.
But there's a scene where Kevin Costner's beating down the no black sign for the toilets. For the women's toilets, and he's beating it down. It's very kind of white savior kind of vibe to it. But
Yeah, that's right, because that was one of the points, wasn't it? She was there in the control room with everyone else, and yet to go to the bathroom, she had to walk a mile away to use the coloured people's
That's
bathroom.
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, so there's a bit where it's all kind of fixed because a white man beats the sign down, and suddenly that's all she needed. That's all that she needed to be able to do it. It's not that simple, is it? And
No.
sometimes it can be a little bit overly simplified in these movies. So yeah, just keep that in mind when you're watching it, because you can easily get suckered into the point of view they want to push in the movie, really.
He just goes on to say, although it's a film based on a true story in America, I still feel it should be something everyone should watch. That's me for now. Cheers.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We do have a Just Ask Her as well.
Oh yeah.
So let's have a look. So Just Ask Her. So the name is Anonymous Coward. Oh. So Anonymous Coward, we'll call them AC. That's much better. So AC says, ladies, I have a problem I'd like your opinion on. I'm rather Ruben-esque.
Right.
Rubenesque.
I'm a rather...
It's
Say
a
it again?
style of Renaissance paintings done by an artist called, probably something Ruben, but he painted women as a more shapely, so
Fuller figured.
slightly fuller figured, so bigger tummies and slightly saggy breasts.
Okay.
But it's a more sort of, it celebrates the more realistic female figure. So Rubenesque is it's a polite way of saying curvy.
Okay. Well, this person says, AC says, I have a problem I'd like your opinion on. I'm a rather Ruben-esque gentleman. My partner has started to refer to my belly fat wobbling as a girthquake. Do I tell her to sling her hook or not?
Oh.
That's fucking
That's
Gadget.
really sad.
That's Gadget. You coward, Gadget! You coward! That's me! I'm that girlfriend!
Jupiter Storm. A girthquake, really.
A girthquake! This is also the same night that I said that I referred to my mouth as both. I said, our bodies are kind of flawed, aren't they? How? Well, because my eat hole is also my talk hole. But no, the cat was sat on his belly and I wobbled his belly and the cat kind of lost balance and fell off and I said, girthquake! He laughed.
Wow, clearly
I'd
not.
say-
I think you should leave her, mate. Leave that. That is just out of line. Put yourself first.
I'd say you've got to have a sense of humour sometimes. And you can't laugh in the moment and then take offence later. That's not fair. He's such a git. He thought, I know where I'll get her. I'll write in anonymously and embarrass her, and that's how I'll get her back.
Imagine if it wasn't him, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine if it's somebody else that's had the same
Please,
thing.
just
a
help
complete
me.
stranger. It depends what kind of relationship you've got with her. If she's sort of are you a couple that tend to banter back and forth and play with each other and be silly and have a bit of a laugh. If 9 out of 10 times it makes you laugh and that one time it upsets you, just remember that they don't know if you're having that one time that you're not going to find it funny. So just be a little bit more patient with them. But I think you can't go through life without having a decent sense of humour about things. Obviously, if it really upsets you, then you have to have a proper conversation with them, which Gadget has had with me many times, where he says, "Stop pulling my fat," because when I'm talking to him, I'll grab onto the side of his belly and I'll just talk to him with my hands over his muffins, just because I like to talk to him. Or I insist on when I cuddle him, he has to have his shirt off. I insist on it.
Oh, that's
And
cute,
sometimes-
though. That's loving.
Sometimes I just like to keep my hands busy when we're talking, especially if we're having a serious conversation, because I feel very uncomfortable. And if we're having a serious talk about something, I put my hands over his boobs and I just very gently wobble them, ever so slightly, enough that you wouldn't notice, but enough that I'm focused on wobbling them.
And enough now, we've all got mental images.
Yeah.
Just sat like that, just go like this, I'm going,
No, I'm imagining you more like a cat making biscuits.
Yeah.
No, it's not making. No,
Yeah.
because he notices that. He notices the squeeze. He doesn't notice the wobble, and then eventually he goes, "Stop wobbling my fat!"
Well, this Just Ask Her got very, very real.
Oh, gosh. You got to have a sense of humour.
Right, on that note, we are done. Thank you to everyone for joining us. Thank you for all of our listeners. Thank you to everyone who wrote in. And thank you, as always, to my co-hosts. For our contact information, check out modernescapism.co.uk or check out the show notes. Bye, everyone!
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Mary loves Jack.